Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This video is another video in our philosophy series. This one should hopefully be pretty interesting. This one is, what is the best advice one can give in life? And this is one I wanted to do for a little while because I was thinking about it recently. I was thinking about what is the best advice someone can give in life. And I was thinking, a lot of times in my life, I know I seek out tons of advice from different types of people. I try to figure out solutions to my problems. And also, I want to clarify. I don't. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But that being said, a lot of times in life, I seek out a lot of advice from different types of people for different solutions to personal problems, goals, etc. Um, and they're all really helpful. And I've gotten one really helpful one recently that I was like, wow, that's crazy. But a lot of times when I do this, I realize um, I keep seeking these tons of advice, and some do help. But in reality, starting to think, why is this advice, all this advice help me, and why are these problems and these goals still not met? And then I realized maybe the best advice in life is not from someone else, but from oneself. And this is because even though again I received some really good advice recently from a good friend of mine, I was like, wow, that's crazy. I feel like in life it's easy for anyone, especially me included, to start becoming used to seeking advice and hoping the advice will become the solution. In reality, we are the solutions to our problems. I think it's easy to become like seeking all this tons of advice and getting it and thinking these advice will automatically resolve the problem or the goal. But in reality, it's it's we it's I the responsibility falls back on us, which is kind of just a shame. But um, we there might be it's easy to seek advice and hope that the advice itself will help the problem or resolve our goal, but in reality, it still comes down to us. So then I realized maybe the best advice, potentially, in my opinion, the best advice we can get in life is not from other people, but from ourselves. And this is because a lot of times I feel like the gut and our intuition uh, is very impactful. Obviously, there's other things like that people give us that are really good advice, can still give us really good advice. But our gut and intuition really help guide us, I feel like, in life. So also, I've started thinking about this like no one in life really wants to help you as much as you want to help yourself. And because no one else knows what you desire other than you. Uh, like, um, some people really close to you might want to help you, obviously, as much as they can, but none of those people really know how to because they're not you. So I feel like that is a really like crazy way to think about it. And they want to help you achieve your desires, but they themselves don't have that desire as much as you have the desire. They don't know how badly you want to achieve that goal or what is bothering you as much, um, you know, uh, because they're not necessarily you. So when seeking your goals, I guess, in life, the best person to ask for is other people's advice, but combine it with your own intuition. Combine the external advice with your own advice. And if their advice doesn't align with your advice, sometimes take it, but don't always do that because it might end up compromising your own like your own morals. Because I know sometimes in life, I'll take other people's advice when it doesn't align with my own advice, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I'll feel 10 times better when I do something, even though it maybe the advice was different that I've gotten. Even though I failed, and I was like, oh, I'm stupid. I shouldn't have done that. But for some reason, I feel better when I don't take that advice because at least I failed on my own doing, if that makes sense. When you fail when someone else gives you advice, it's like, dang. But when you fail on your own, you can be like, okay, now I can learn from this and grow from it, I guess, in a way. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, just in my opinion, the best advice we can get in life comes from ourselves. But that doesn't mean other people, I don't want me to sound like egocentric. Obviously, other people can sometimes even give better advice than our own advice we have. But it's about striking a balance, I guess, between other people's advice and our own intuition, our own advice, and combining it to make one successful game plan, I guess, in a way, to achieve our goals. So, yeah, um, one successful plan to achieve our goals. The best advice one can get in life comes from oneself, but not only with oneself, but also combining the best advice someone else has given them with their own advice to achieve everything we desire, hopefully. So yeah, that's what I think the best advice is. Obviously, this is my opinion. I'm probably most likely wrong about this. However, I just thought this would be an interesting deep thinking video to be like, dang, that's true. The only people that desire this goal as much as I do is I'm the only one that desires this goal as much because no one else is me, you know? I feel like that people can know you at least 99% of the time, but there's always 1% of them they don't know because no one is tapped in telepathically to our minds. So that 1% of the percent that people don't know about you is actually what makes you the most unique, which I think is cool, and it makes you the most likely, and that's the area you could achieve the most because no one really knows it about you. So it's easier to achieve stuff when no one else really knows that part about you. Like no one can like. So yeah, this was a conclusion. The best advice we get from ourselves, mainly, but obviously other people can sometimes give advice, obviously that like better than our own advice, and the best combination of this would be combining their advice with our own advice. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.